show. Always Irish show. Always Irish show. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State. It's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? It's a poison. I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing. Doing a damn thing. The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Welcome in, welcome back, folks. No, it's not Desmond Howard on game day. It's always Irish and Michael Goolsby, in fact. It's great to be here. It's good to start off a morning with you fine people. We had so many night games in a row. Thank you to everybody. I'm out of the routine. I'm used to doing this at like 11 at night. Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for being here, starting the day with us. Really appreciate it. There's a lot to go over with this Notre Dame Clemson game. Your worries, your concerns, your confidences, all of it. There's a lot to get into, so let's not waste any time. Thanks for being here. As always, the program's on YouTube. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps me out as well. Notifications on that way you're alerted every time a new episode drops. I know you guys don't want to miss it. Twitter, search bar, Always Irish, rat, Always Irish. And see, early in the morning, I haven't yelled enough throughout the day. I could get that gravelly, I could get real deep on it. Email alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Call in lines after the game. Dial it up, 312-988-15. Instagram, Facebook, Always Irish Inc. USA Today, Fighting Irish Wire. Read all about it. Patreon.com/Always Irish. Former Notre Dame captain Michael Goolsby and myself talking about Notre Dame football. Look at him. Here he is. Good morning.
John.
Yeah.
Big game, buddy. Big game, dude.
I'm wound a little tight, Mike, and I'm predisposed to being wound a little tight, and you know that.
Oh, yeah. And this game makes sense to be wound a little tight.
It's
yet another one of these games you can't quite figure it out.
Yeah.
What to think, what to expect.
It feels so trappy that it can't be a trap, Mike. These guys have 4 losses, but you know they're not as bad as that. And we're playing good and kind of trending up overall, despite some offensive anxieties. You just don't know what you're going to get on that Clemson side. I don't know how we're going to react. We're wearing white pants. Did you hear that, Mike? All whites today, baby. All white.
The crispy all whites. Can't wait to see what they look like, but it's also kind of an FU that we're debuting these new unis on the road at your place. Is that not a little disrespectful, John?
I don't know. And we're past the part of the year where you could argue we want to be cooler, right? Isn't that like a September thing when you go down south and it's 100 degrees at noon? You wear a lighter uniform to kind of stay cooler. We're past that. Is this just for style?
I like it. I mean, hey, listen, going into this, it's not Notre Dame's fault. It's not Freeman's fault that Clemson's got 4 losses. Maybe we had this planned all season, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a big game. It's okay to treat it as such. Come out with some new unis. Cheers, by the way, John.
Yeah, there you go, man. Start it off. Let's go.
It's early for a beer, but I like it personally. I think, you can get into like Marcus Freeman marketing this program is almost like the NFL. Like we're everywhere. So it's like we are the biggest game in this early time slot. Why not come out in the fresh whites, pop off the screen a little bit,
Hey, I'm all for it as long as you show up and are ready to play good football. Mike, I was up, how my My brain's not wired right, man. I was up late last night. I even recorded a late video and posted it on Patreon, kind of really late last night, late hours. I just had to talk through where I'm at, man. And I know that I'm the vibes guy and the big picture momentum, and I'm always gauging all that. The more I think about this game, Mike, the bigger it becomes for Notre Dame. And it is much bigger than just getting this one win or having one more loss. There's a lot of perceptual stuff on the line for Notre Dame. Big picture nationally, I think, and within the fan base. And what I mean by that, Mike, is if you lose this game, there is no way any Notre Dame fan can really look at this as a really good year. You just can't. You got to get this win. You have to have this win.
Yeah, I totally agree. And John, you're the fan vibe guy.
Yeah.
You not sense a feeling of trust that's kept developing between the fan base Freeman, the fan base Notre Dame, like in trust in terms of John, like maybe we can win big games, right? Maybe it is okay to not be as anxious going into a game. So I think if ND were to lose a game like this, it really affects that level of trust that's and maybe goodwill, dude, that's been built.
Yeah, here's kind of where the unique matchups in this ball game, I think, are causing this blend of confidence and anxiety. What I mean by that is Notre Dame feels great about their defense right now. Notre Dame fans should feel great about the defense right now. They're playing balls to the wall, making game-changing plays, flying all over the place. You got special teams making game-changing plays the last couple weeks. But then you look at the offense, and you know Clemson has a good defense, and you're going, you have a few 3-and-outs early in the game at their place. That's how you end up in a dogfight all afternoon. That's the part, Mike. People feel good about the defense. That offense needs to do something today.
It's two very equally matched teams. And yeah, and it's I can't think about, John, I can't think about this game with, again, Clemson having their backs against the wall, fighting for their lives, their status within college football, right? The way the program itself is viewed. Dabo's under a lot of heat. But I can't think about this year without the way that we handled them and beat them down last year. Like that beat down last year has to factor so much more into this year's game.
Yeah.
Psychologically, John, it has to.
Well, the thing is, before all of this blew up with Dabo against the fans, Dabo, whatever, and then the 4 losses and the really bad one to NC State, nobody really, I thought they were going to pull that off. But even before all this new drama with Clemson, we were saying there's that revenge factor. Dabo's not the type of cat to get beat down at your place and forget all about it and have a clean slate the next year. That revenge factor was always going to be a part of this matchup. Then you stir in the 4 bad losses. You stir in Dabo's testy and not in the mood. And it all builds up to make you wonder, where is Clemson coming from? 4-4 near death. Are they looking for a reason for you to finish them, or are they going to rise up? And I don't think they're going to play dead at their place, Mike. I do not think they're going to play dead. I don't know if they're good enough to beat us anyways the way they're going, but they're not going to roll over.
No, zero chance. Zero chance. I mean, I see this. I mean, we can kind of get into predictions, excuse me. But I see this being a low-scoring game. I thought last week was going to be a low-scoring game against Pitt. And, John, it was trending that way until the kind of random fireworks in the second half, right? But you went into halftime. You went into first quarter against a 2-5 football team. We're up 7-0. You go into halftime up 17-0. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. As you said, the matchups, I think in a lot of ways, brother, we cancel each other out.
Yeah.
So it comes down to what? Playmakers. It comes down to turnovers, home field advantage, crowd noise. The thing that worries me most about Clemson's offense, John, and I was up watching that NC State game last night, NC State Clemson. Klubnik is a spaz as a thrower. He's a spaz. He's still uncomfortable. But his legs, John, his legs worry me a little bit. You know, the spontaneity that brings to the game, right?
Don't you feel like Notre Dame's done a better job this year, though, with those type of quarterbacks so far when they played one? I feel like they've had a better plan to contain that aspect of these quarterbacks. They did a much better job against Williams. They did a better job against Riley and then NC State dude. So I feel like they've done a better job this year with that regard. Somebody put in the chat, Klubnik was wearing a boot or had something on his leg this week at practice. So then it makes me wonder if he's at 100%. They got injuries all over. The old line's banged up. Take advantage.
And what a bad look by Dabo, too, for letting DJ Uiagalelei walk, right? He's at like Oklahoma State because he preferred this kid over that kid. It's just another big kind of boo-boo on his resume. But yeah, we have done a good job, at least against Caleb Williams, Brennan Armstrong for sure when he was playing at NC State. But let's not try and like heat him up. You know, Golden King kind of can't help himself sometimes. He wants to get into that designer defense. It's like, let's use the same strategy we employed against the Williams. Let's be disciplined in our rush lanes, etc. Right? Because he is the same type of athlete on his feet.
Yeah. It's just, this is so interesting. Like, of all the weeks for it to line up for you to play Clemson, it's when they have all this drama going on, and it changes kind of the atmosphere a little bit. And it's just, I just keep going back to Notre Dame knows what's on the line here. They know what's on the line, man. Any hopes of that New Year's 6 and 10-2 for the fans, Mike? Tell me if this is right or wrong from the fans side.
Hit me.
It's a big deal to me, maybe not everybody, but it's a big deal to me that in year 2 of this 3-3 you had with the same teams, that you flip that baby and get it to 2-1. It should probably be 3-0, but that's water under the bridge. You got to get this one and show that big game progress.
No doubt.
From 1-2 last year to 2-1 and flip that baby. That's a big deal to show overall progress.
There's no doubt.
I need it.
There's no doubt, John. Yeah, because then again, that was when you're talking about Swamp Thing. That was like the top 3 complaint was the big game record, the big game approach, etc. So it kind of goes back to what I'm talking about earlier in terms of that connective trust between the fan base and Coach Freeman and the fan base and this team. And yeah, when you can start winning these games consistently and competently, then you just you can get rid of your Louisville random Marshall losses, and it's like then you're really becoming a top 5, top 10 program, annually. So yeah. It's a big game. And then beyond that, John, like you've talked about this, you could start shoveling dirt on Clemson after this game, right? You've talked about that, how important that is to you as a fan to kind of drive that stake through their heart,
Well, we were a part of kind of starting on the front end of showing some cracks in their armor. And then you might be able to pull this baby full circle and really be able to kind of start the downfall. And then I like the idea that they're down and you have a chance to put them out at their place, give them 5 losses. And it literally would feel like you were just like leaving that program in the dust. And we're crisp. The interstate's going north and south, and you're passing them north as outfield, and they're flying by you the other way. That's what I want to feel like. You know what, Clemson, maybe we're taking that role you had of being that team that isn't the SEC or the Big Ten that's up there, and we're leaving you behind in the wake, and we're running you over. I don't care if they come ready to play. Beat them anyways.
Yeah. Well, I texted you because I've been watching them all week as I'm developing my opinions about this game, and hopefully we get to some score predictions, whatever. John, they look athletic, but they're small, dude. And for anybody watching, anybody in the chat, etc., like wait till you see our bodies on the field with their bodies. Like they're small, they're quick, they play hard, etc., well coached, good defense, yada, yada, yada. But dude, they're small. So I'm just like, can we not just lean on these guys? I don't see – there's a lot at play, John. I don't see Coach Parker coming into this game, dude, with an aggressive scheme. I think it's going to be a conservative scheme. We're going to wait for them to turn the ball over. Can you feel that?
Yeah. All right. You want to talk about the anxieties, and I have a lot no matter who Notre Dame's playing because I'm me and I find a reason to have that anxiety. But here's one specific. Like, that's the way I am, man. You don't get this skeleton body frame without having anxiety all the time. I burn off all my calories just thinking about Notre Dame, man. It doesn't matter. I burn it all off with anxiety. But here's the part that has me really worked up, okay? When you look at their statistics and look at the gameplay and the game flow from some of their games, they are dominating some of these games they're losing in a lot of statistical categories that normally dictate like who's in control and ultimately wins a game. They just have a problem of making catastrophic mistakes at the worst possible time in almost every game. And in the worst moment of the game, they have been making catastrophic errors that have led to all 4 of these losses. But the numbers, they're eating up time of possession. They're gaining a lot of yards a lot of these times. Yeah. They're doing a lot of that stuff right. So where this comes to a head in my messed up head is, am I just supposed to expect them to make those catastrophic mistakes every single game? My brain's going, one of these, they're not going to have that huge turnover on the 1-inch line that's going the other way. Like, that's the way they're losing, and I don't feel like I can rely on that. Does that make sense?
Totally. It makes total sense, John. And I'm going to just add a little bit more, just a different flavor of anxiety for you.
Oh, thanks, partner.
You got it, man. You got it. Yes, makes total sense. We can't rely on the other team making boneheaded plays. We can't rely on it. Can we rely on our defense to create some of those plays? They've gotten hot. I mean, since the USC game, Xavier Watts coming out of nowhere was leading the country with 6 picks. We can't rely on them to drop the ball figuratively and literally. Can we rely on our defense? I think this is such an evenly matched game. I'm not really worried, John. I wouldn't say that I'm worried, but it's one of those ones where it's like, dude. But it's very evenly matched. I think it comes down to turnovers. And like you're talking about, John, where Klubnik's made he's got a laser whip, like he's got a laser quick release. Their coaches are going to take the air out of the ball and just be like, if your first read isn't there, tuck it and go. Let's lower the statistical probabilities of turning the ball over. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Just go run.
It definitely makes sense. It's just the more you look into the 4-4, the more peculiar the road is that got them there. Like it's just uncomfortable. And it's not a typical 4-4 where it's like all you could just say is like most of it's talent. And it's just, you don't have the dudes. Like this 4-4 has been built a little differently. And I'm confident in the defense, Mike. But how do you think Notre Dame fans are going to feel if you go 3 and out on offense in the first quarter a couple of times? Like, then you're going to be on a high alert. Like, that's how this game drags out, and then we're all losing our minds.
Yeah. I was texting my father last night, and I was like, it wouldn't. And I'm just saying, dude, like these are I'll sit there and think. I mean, I've been thinking about this game like every single night. How is this going to play out? I texted my father last night. If we go into halftime down, John, I won't be surprised. Great question, the way you frame it. If we go 3 and out the first couple series and we're trying to hammer the ball, does Parker get nervous? We've seen him get nervous. These Louisville Duke games, they don't know what kind of card to pull, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you got to stay with the run game. Or do we want to put the ball in Sam's hands, John? What do the fans want?
Yeah, well, the fans want whatever the hell's moving the ball. I don't care whether you're shit. You think I care whether you're handing it off or throwing it? Get first down.
Well, let's not give up. Let's not give up on.
I don't
give up on the
care.
run game. You know, you're going to take the conservative approach. Okay, so I'm just saying, they're probably going to take away the run game. They're going to challenge our wide receivers. It's a really good defense. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a little bit small on the edges, but I mean. I think their defensive backs cancel our wide receivers and vice versa.
So
it's going to be a physical game. Like, who has the edge where?
Well, all right. I'll give you an edge. And I genuinely mean this. I'm taking off the Notre Dame shades. If anything, I'm harder on Notre Dame than a lot of. I have reversed Notre Dame green sunglasses where I'm almost harder on them on a lot of things. But
that's why we're here together, brother.
Let me give you this. I believe the most dominant group on the field today is Notre Dame's defense. I believe that is the best unit on both sides that is going to be on the field today. I think Notre Dame's defense is the most proven, that is playing the best right now. And I genuinely, that isn't me saying it because I'm a Notre Dame guy. I genuinely think Notre Dame's defense is the best individual unit out there on either team today. And I need them to take advantage of that. I really think that they're the best unit out there today.
So by taking advantage, you want turnovers, splash plays, etc.
I want what they've been doing. I want more than bend but don't break, but solid. The last couple weeks, you've gotten game-wrecking, game-changing plays out of our defense, and I need it to feel contagious. I'm talking month 3 COVID. I need this to be out and about.
What do you make of the day of, morning of, hour from kickoff? What do you make of this? We talked about this, I think, on the Patreon, John, by the way. The early kickoff, you looked at it as a pro in terms of you're not dealing with, rowdy, drunk fans. The early kickoff concerns me as the ex-player just because there might be a little sleep in the eyes. That again factors into this kind of slow start that I could really kind of forecast.
Right. Now, I've been thinking about that because you did bring that up. When we met earlier in the week on Patreon. Here's my question, though. Is there no risk they're going to be sleepy too? Like, come on, you're saying, what if we sleepwalk? Well, they're playing an early day game with nothing on the line at their place.
But you don't factor in the travel.
So it's a home versus away dynamic too, then, for you with the accommodations.
They flew in yesterday. You're basically going to go through a walkthrough, go back to the hotel, go to sleep, wake up, and play a football game. Like, there's not a lot of acclimation period. I think it affects both, but I think it affects the traveling team more. I mean, this is the earliest kickoff that we've had all season. And we've been, coming off night game. You had a 2:30 game last. I'm just saying I could see it being a thing. And the curious thing is, if it is that slugfest, back and forth, kind of a stalemate type deal, who flinches? Do we start, Parker starts trying to reinvent the wheel? Do we lean on something? That's because there's going to be a stressful point. Who flinches coaching staff wise? That's kind of what I'm expecting. My prediction was like 17-10, John. That's what I'm expecting. Low scoring.
17-10 is stress all day for 4 quarters. Ain't nobody here for that. 17-10 is stress
we had
all
17
day.
Points. We had 17 points at home going into half against a Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And then here's the other part of this. If I'm them, I'm absolutely selling out to stop Estime in the run game. And that our best target is out injured now. I am set with Evans. Yeah, we didn't even get to that, but he has been your Michael Mayer security blanket. Now he's out. So it's like, if I'm them, I'm selling out to stop the run and not let Estime get loose and all that stuff. I want to know, though, What can Notre Dame get done in the run game despite that? Like, if they're able to have a little bit of success, even if Clemson's going above and beyond to slow down, then other things open up here. It's a balancing act of wanting to keep doing that, but you got to get a little something going, even if they're trying to stop it to open everything else up. Come on, man. We're at the end of the year here, dude. This isn't like the offense is going to grow. We're at the end of the year. Put it together and do enough. Be good enough.
I get it. Yeah, I mean, run the ball. And it's like, don't be afraid to air it out. I mean, you got a 60-year quarterback. He's been here. Like, I've been kind of predicting it since last week, and like my gut instinct is that Sam's going to have to make a play. I think Clemson's good defense is good enough, is disciplined enough to stop the running game. Stopping the running game, folks, John, that's all it takes, brother, is just discipline. Be where you're supposed to be, fit it up. I think Clemson will do that. I don't think that we've ever really bullied anybody this year at O-line U, as you like to say, John.
Yeah.
So at a certain point in time, you're going to get, I feel like, into a stalemate with that run game. Who gets free as a play-action passer? Can Sam make something happen? I just feel like it's going to be a really tightly contested game. And yes, Mitch Evans apparently has more catches on third down catches. Mitch Evans has more than the rest of the entire wide receiver room combined, right? So Sam's – it's going to be a fun game. This is going to be a football game, John. You feel me?
I want to know your definition of fun. Us playing a half-assed offense and then me losing all my hairline this afternoon is not my idea of fun. My idea of fun is all those people in Death Valley are silent because Notre Dame's burying them, and they're looking at their existential existence as an elite program crumbling with those gold helmets in front of you. That's what I need to see. But I don't know. Mike, this offense makes me nervous, dude. I believe the defense is going to do enough to keep Notre Dame in this game. I don't think Clemson's going to start playing great offense out of nowhere. All week, you were telling me, Sam Hartman, guess what, pal? This is the kind of moment you were brought in here to Notre Dame to take care of, is this kind of moment. And especially if they are going to sell out on the run, he is going to have to throw some guys open and make some plays there. He's going to have to. We're at the end of the road here, buddy. We need it today. Let's go.
You might, and you look at the way he played against Clemson last year when he was at Wake. I think he had 6 TDs. So, I mean, he's familiar, obviously, with these ACC opponents.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I feel like they're going to take away the run game, and you're going to need Sam. And I feel like he should relish this opportunity, because he's kind of been, like we've said, somewhat of a non-factor here recently. I mean, you're not winning games because of Hartman. And this game might shape up to give him one of those opportunities, John. And then another thing that, again, this dynamic of just, me just giving you little like anxiety, balls. And you can choose whether to catch them. How many can you juggle? How many balls of anxiety can you juggle, John?
You love it.
I do.
You know the stuff that's going to trigger me, and you get a little grin in your face.
A lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah, I know. You love it. Like, it's just lighting the edge of that firework and waiting for it to explode.
Before I get to this real quick, too, what was it the night you did the on your YouTube show, you did the rant about Michigan football? Was that a couple nights ago?
Yeah.
For anybody that's not familiar with John's content, this is why he and I linked up. I've been a fan for years. You did a 12-minute rant on the state of Notre Dame football, Michigan football program instability. And nobody else could do that, John. It was remarkable. I watched it twice. So I laughed out loud several times. Nobody else can do that.
I am proudly claiming the creation of MFBD, Michigan Football Brain Disorder. That is my creation many years ago. I am certain those people are out of their minds, not connected to reality in any way. And I'm being proven correct every day. Speaking of that, let's do a couple of these super chats. Just ND Gal with the 10.02. And I believe that's a reference to what she believes our final record should be this year with the 10-2. She always does something creative when she calls or puts something in. I'm pretty sure she's leading us to that 10-2. I'm nervous that I'm not nervous. There's Michigan football brain disorder. We have Irish post-traumatic loss disorder since 11/20/93. So she's going back a ways. Thanks for waking us up, guys. Go Irish. That's it, Mike. Notre Dame fans are to the point where if you even feel good about it, then you have anxiety that I should be worrying about something and I'm not allowed to feel good about it.
Yeah, everybody's once bitten, twice shy, right? I mean, isn't that the way it goes around here?
Dude.
And that's where I was talking about this trust factor. Yeah, but if we can go out there and handle business in the manner in which you want us to, John, it's like, okay, maybe everybody's relationship, everybody's fandom with the university starts to change a little bit because this is still a big game. Again, coming out in the crispy white uniforms, it's not our fault that Clemson shit the bed this year. I mean, this is still a very big game, right?
Yeah. And that's where you're talking about the trust, Mike. Like Notre Dame fans want to buy in, but through my life, every time you do, the foot just crushes you on the head, dude. Every time you allow yourself to think, maybe this year's different, maybe this game will be different, maybe this and that, then that other boot drops right on your head. And
you're like, I knew better. I knew better. I knew better, right?
Yeah, but it's like, are you never allowed to just have bold confidence in your guys? Like, but we're not stable enough yet and consistent enough for me to feel that. Like we're just not. And so it's a tough spot, Mike. It's a tough spot. Mark with glasses wants to know if your thermostat's broken with the hat.
No. Thermostat's fine. I just got kind of a shitty haircut yesterday. And I haven't, John, when you're in our boat, when you have limited follicles, when you're follically limited,
oh yeah,
every blade counts, right?
I quit counting my blades, buddy. Every week in the Notre Dame year, I get a 4-head, then a 5-head, a 6-head. I'm running out of space.
Yeah. No, I got a shitty haircut. It's early in the morning. Didn't feel like doing my hair. Threw a hat on. But hey, the thing I wanted to touch on, let's go to this super chat. Nervous about the offense today. Solid front on D. Big test. Yeah. Clemson is small-ish. They're small-ish. They do have obviously they're quicker up front. They're more of oh God. Remember Duke D line, their front, they had some like thumpers in the middle, 300 plus pounders, 320-ish type guys. Both guys that'll probably play in the league. Clemson's front to me more resembles Louisville's in terms of a little quicker, a little bit more dynamic versus just being a bully, right? And that's given our guards problems in the past, with foot speed, athleticism. So, but they are a little bit on the small side. That's why I kind of just less pulling Parker, more double teams. Let's just lean on people. You with me, John?
Yeah. Weren't you, I don't want to misquote you, but didn't you bring up to me even last year during the note when they came to our place, you noticed physically Notre Dame was looking bigger and bulkier and had some bigger guys there. Like that kind of tells you kind of where Notre Dame's trying to get and turn the corner at in terms of, and you're a better gauge of that than fans are when you can look at a team and know, oh shit, look at these dudes getting off the bus, or oh man, come on, man, I thought you guys were a little beefier. Like, am I misremembering that, or did you see that last year even that was starting to shift a little bit in terms of that body composure?
Yeah. Composition. Exactly. You can look at it. This is still football. This is a combat, contact, high velocities, physical sport. And there is an intimidation factor that comes with like looking the part. Yeah. And we have more guys just in terms of the hamstring, the high ass, the long arms, like the things that you're looking for, markers of athleticism, as we say, John. We just look better. We look better in pads. And that, when you're talking about it changing a guard, I'll keep talking about it, John, this window for us to kind of, prop ourselves up as a top 5 team, the recruiting, the strength and development. I mean, we're starting to really kind of turn that page, and it's evident when you get a chance to eyeball these teams. So yeah, we should be bigger. We should be able to out physical them. But some of that, is in your heart too. So I mean, then their backs are against the wall. So it's just, and yeah, I think it's going to be a fun game. I do. I think I'm still confident we're going to win, but it's going to be a football game there, brother.
Yeah, it's just, you got to have it in every single way. You just have to have it in every single practical and perceptual way. You have to have this to maintain any momentum going into the end of the year in the offseason. You just got to have it. James here with the $10 holler. I hope everybody has a great day today. Huge sports weekend for Notre Dame. Hockey, football, basketball, and Micah Shrewsbury first game. I believe this is somebody who does work at Notre Dame, came to the tailgate. Thank you for the support, James. And then here's an interesting question for you, Mike. This comes from Andrew Gilmore, longtime subscriber of mine. Always has provocative thoughts, calls in and debates. He's on our Patreon as well. Patreon.com/alwaysirish for our exclusive content. Andrew's there as well. Off subject, but relevant. Would love to hear your thoughts on Bobby Knight. Mike, would you want to play for a coach like Knight, or do you prefer more of a player's coach? That's a really interesting, relevant question this week.
I saw that earlier. We finally got to it. It's difficult to say because sometimes, I mean, that guy's off the chain, right?
Yeah.
So to be frankly, some of this stuff was a little bit abusive to players, and then the player, you can't do anything. You can't fight back. So maybe I'd like the older version of Bob Knight, like the Texas Tech years maybe, versus the 70s, 80s Bob Knight. But I think the biggest thing that you can ask for is in terms of a player, John, is you need to be able to respect your coach. And then part of that respect comes from like consistent. I can't read these comments and talk at the same time. Consistency. So if Bob Knight is going to be Bob Knight 365 days a year, go nuts. But it's the up and down, the back and forth, the changing hats, as it were.
Yeah.
But if a coach is going to be that way all day, every day, I can live with it. Yeah. I just don't dig the abusive type stuff because your hands are tied as a player. You can't do shit about it. It's unfair.
Yeah. I think anything where you're like grabbing people kind of crosses the line a little, right?
It's abusive. It's an abusive power. Frankly, it is. And we've all kind of been there with our, with like you've had a coach grab your face mask and it's like, dude,
yeah,
there's levels to this stuff, as you say.
And the other part is he was coaching in his prime in a different era, and you could never even approach the way that he operated in his heyday. You would be fired in 1 second now just because of the way society's changed. So he's a dinosaur relic in that regard because you couldn't even do the way he does stuff.
No, which makes it seem that much worse, right? It's crazy. Yeah,
it's just changing times. And the other part of that, though, I wonder as a player is...
That's a good conversation for the Patreon because I could go... You could say a lot. You could say a lot about society and sports. Maybe we'll spare that for the Patreon, but continue. Sorry.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to ask is, don't you have to kind of know yourself as a player? Like, I think I would know how I am best coached, like what pushes my buttons to get more out of me and all that. And then if Bobby Knight's Bobby Knight, I wouldn't even want to be recruited or play that if I couldn't handle that, because you kind of know what you're getting. It wasn't a secret. So if I didn't think I could handle that kind of coaching, I don't think I'd be interested in playing for him to begin with.
That's fair. Yeah, but he was winning, right? So it's what's more important? Like, are you thick-skinned enough to deal with this and go win a championship? It's interesting when you compare him to a Coach Freeman. When you compare him to a Coach Freeman, I've seen Coach Freeman get fired up, and it's like it still comes across as very kind. He's a good person. But even when he gets fired up, I'm like, Coach, man, I know there's another 50% still in there. Like if you really had to let it loose.
Yeah. Look at this one, Mike. This will make you laugh. Goolsby nearly played for an old school coach, George O'Leary. He dodged a bullet there.
I got to this is part of the Patreon, right, is telling some football stories, but I got a great George O'Leary story. The first time I met that guy, and John, I don't want to get too into the story, but I hadn't started up to that point, but I had like letters of true freshmen. They're having all these meetings, right? Position groups are meeting with your new coach. Your boy didn't have a cell phone back then, so I didn't know when the meeting was. So I had to go meet with the guy one-on-one after the fact, and he asked me if I was on scholarship. And I was like this 5-star, linebacker recruit. He's like, "Are you on scholarship, son?" And I was like, "Oh, shit. This is an awful start, right? This isn't going to shake out well." But yeah, that was a wild time, a wild 3-4 days in Notre Dame history, Notre Dame football history.
What do you do when you're a player? And I don't want to make this about that, but what do you do as a player when there's all that drama going on? Do you just mind your own business and you're like, we're going to figure out what the deal is soon enough? There's not much you can do.
John.
That's wild, though. It's your life, and you're like, what the hell's going on here? It's kind of a big deal, right?
And none of the other coaches, there was nobody there to rein you in. There was no shepherd for the flock, as it were. So it was Lord of the Flies for about a week.
Yeah. Man,
because then again, we're this team, and imagine us, what is even going on? So there's almost like a little bit of a rebellion within the team. Like, what the F is going on? We don't have a coach. We don't have a strength coach. We had no guidance. Man, Lord of the Flies.
That's kind of rough for a while. Paul done with $5 holler from Paul. Love the show. I've been home all week for shoulder surgery. Thanks for keeping me entertained while on the mend. ND 24, Clemson 13. Klubnik hands us the win again. Mike.
Yeah,
this guy's. Listen, I'm not piling on Cade Klubnik. He's a young guy trying to find his way, and they don't have a great team this year, and it's a challenge. I'm not ripping on the kid, but he's struggling a little bit this year, man. He is struggling. The game's moving very fast for him, and you could see it when you watch them play. The game's moving quick, and that forces him to make physical and mental mistakes, just like every quarterback. You pressure him up, bad things are going to happen, generally speaking. That's been the case all year, and it should play right into Notre Dame's strength as a defense. Dial it up, Al. Let's go, baby. Crank it up, Al. This is the week for that.
Not at the expense, though, of him being able to pull it down and run. I mean, if you send everybody at him, it's like running a screen or running a draw, John, right? I mean, so if I'm that offensive coordinator, if I'm Riley.
No. Don't do this to me.
I'm telling you, the legs scare me. The arm don't scare me. The legs scare me with Klubnik.
Dude, if legs should have scared you, it was going to be Caleb Williams. If you could contain that, dude, I'm not letting this guy run all – dude, I'm not letting this guy run all over on me off the edge.
John, nope. Caleb Williams wants to run around to be able to throw. He keeps his eyes downfield. I'm saying if I'm Cade Klubnik this week, I'm Riley, their OC. I want you to read one. It's a lot of quick game with him. Everything's quick. And his release is lightning fast. But it's like if one isn't there, I want you to pull the ball down and run. Whereas Caleb Williams is more staying alive, right? He was more staying alive. Klubnik's putting his foot in the ground trying to get upfield. That's what I would tell him to do.
Oh, man.
That worries me this week.
Man,
pass rush, we're going to see a lot of rotation on the defensive line, kind of like we did against USC.
Yeah. Did you end up, or maybe somebody in the chat, did anybody see what the line ended up moving to? Where did that Notre Dame Clemson, maybe somebody in the chat has that, what that line ended up settling on before today? Mike, this is I'm going to have a stroke if the offense comes out and just is running into a wall, nothing's working, and
But you know that's going to happen.
I can't handle it, Mike. I just
can't do it. Happen, though.
It's too late in the year for you to be running out an offense with a 6-year quarterback that doesn't have any answers. I don't know what else to tell you, man. Like, I'm not here for that. I ain't here for that. To have a 6-year dude where we got 2 games after this one, and it's like, maybe the offense can get it going. We're past that. Let's go.
I agree.
Come on, dude.
Yeah. Well, This is good. This. Oh.
3.5, by the way. 3.5 is about where that line ended.
So it basically Vegas is calling this a wash. It's a coin flip game. I mean, they get the 3 points for being at home. Okay, they give it back to us. I mean, it's a wash. It's a wash.
Yeah.
So yeah, the instincts, John. The football, you're the vibe guy. I'm the personal instincts. My instincts is like low scoring game. At some point, Sam's going to have to deliver some passes. You know, he's made one play this year that I recall, which was the 4th and 16 against Duke. This he probably needs to add to his highlight reel this morning. Yeah. It's just my instinct. I just see him taking away the run game.
Yeah. It's
who to who? I don't freaking know.
That's my next question. Exactly.
Mitch Evans is gone. I don't know, dude. I don't know. But that's why we brought you here. That's why we brought you.
Like, that's my next question is I want to know who's going to step up here. You don't have your outlet. You don't have Evans. People want it to be Tyree because you know why? Andrew Gilmore said Tyree. You know why I might want it to be Tyree? Here's why, Mike. This is old school. I know I'm crazy, but he's making a lot of big plays. And I think a guy that's making big plays deserves chances to make more big plays.
God.
I'm not a genius, Mike. Man. I'm not a genius, but when a guy has shown a propensity to make big plays, I am an advocate of letting him try and do that more often. Am I out of my mind?
Dude. Sounds a little risky, dude. I don't know. You mean to tell me? Yeah, a guy that's making little big splash plays, you want to keep trying to find him? I don't know, dude.
It's a wild concept.
It's wild. It's wild. It's a tough sell. Is what it is.
You don't have to get freaky with it, but can you give the guy two more a half? Even like it doesn't have to be wild. Yeah. Target, scheme something up for him 2 to 3 more times a half to get his bulk up. And then if that's working, they're going to have to shade him, and then all the stuff will become open. But use what you got, man. And he's making plays.
I don't know, man. I don't know. We got to hold up front. I mean, John, but then Sam's got to deliver the ball. He hasn't been accurate the last 4 weeks. You know,
I ain't trying to hear that. I'm
just saying. I think we're going to come out conservatively, and I'm just begging Parker. If you don't find early success in the run game, John, don't stroke out, buddy. Don't. It's gonna.
Do you know who you're talking to? The stroke isn't optional, Mike, so to speak. It's not optional, buddy. Okay?
That's great.
It isn't optional. When I have an aneurysm due to Notre Dame, I can't just turn the switch.
That's so funny. The stroke isn't optional. No. But I'm just saying, so what do you think? We're going to be up 14-0 after the first quarter? You know
I don't know.
Don't go away from the run game, Parker. Like I said, we've seen that coaching staff early in the season, mid-season coaching staff getting a little jumpy, right? What card do I pull? What path do I take, etc. So I'm just saying, if you're making progress and you're not scoring points early on, just keep at it.
Yeah,
keep at the run game. Don't start trying to switch gears and going empty. You know, sometimes Parker, we've seen him freak out. He freaks out.
Yeah.
Don't freak out. You got your plan. Stick with your plan.
Yeah. And this is actually something else I wanted to bring up too, to mix into all this. Hitting Price or Love could lead to a big play. You know, if you're going to be run heavy or whatever and estimate and doing all that and whatever, use those backs. Use those backs. They can all burn you. All of Notre Dame's backs can burn you. I'm an advocate for getting them involved as much as possible, if for no other reason than general confusion. To have multiple guys out there. I like the 2-back thing.
I love it.
And it causes the defense to have to wait and go, who the hell's doing what here? I like that little hesitation you cause by them not knowing, Is this a handoff to one back, a handoff to the other back? Who's blocking and then going out for a pass?
John,
I love that confusion. It's more shit to think about it. I love that.
Fantasy land. Yeah, but we've seen it sprinkled. We've seen the two back thing sprinkled. And John, to your point about, hey, let's find Tyree. The guy's a big play waiting to happen. Let's get him the ball a couple, 2-3 more times. That makes too much sense, right? To consistently use that strategy. The two back offense has worked. And to your point, it creates like mismatches. You can get a Jeremiah Love against a JD Bertrand walked out. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., this linebacker, he don't want to leave the box. And he's got to run with Love. It makes too much sense to do it, John.
Yeah. And so I love that. And then do we know what the plan is at tight end now? Like with Evans out, are we just doing is it Stays and Raritan then? That's the next. But I don't know if the usage is going to be the same as it was before the injury. Do you get what I mean? Like, are they going to have as many multiple tight ends?
Let's talk about this, John.
Or are they going to pare that back now?
Hey, first of all, John, freaking great question. Second of all, I don't know for sure. But this is what my eyes have shown me. This is what my eyes tell me. So basically, you're going to replace Mitch with Stays because of the experience factor, right? So that's going to count for the most.
Yep.
I've said that I believe Stays is more of a vertical kind of stretch the field route runner than he is like sit down, in and out, phone booth type routes. You've seen where Mitch will just get open, Michael Mayer get open out of a phone booth. Stays is going to play the most based off of experience, but is he a Y? Is he a hand in the dirt, 11 personnel tight end? Like his block matters. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Raritan is a tremendous blocker and has been since a true freshman. And then even Flanagan is a son of a gun as a blocker.
Yeah.
So Stays is going to get the reps based off of the experience. But if you go 11 personnel, I don't know if I trust Stays as like the point man in a run scheme. Am I making sense, John?
Yeah. And then the other question it makes me think of is
Fireball
when we're Phil here. Oh, Phil's
That's
so
aggressive,
good.
Phil.
Dude, Phil, Mike, let me tell you. So Phil's one of my longtime guys. He comes to all the tailgates and the events that we do. Wonderful family, wife, and kids. Every tailgate we have, his little tiny wife always walks up there with a handle of Fireball first thing in the morning and goes, "John, good morning. Here it is." I'm telling you, the bottle's bigger than half of her body, and she's all little and petite, and she goes, "Hi, John, here you go," and a big old handle. Every time we do an event, I love them. They are fantastic people.
We can't wait to meet them.
Oh, God, they're fun. And just the kids are in tow, and she's carrying that jug all over campus. It's beautiful. Here's the question, though, and this has been on my mind late last night as well. When Notre Dame finds themselves in the first half of this game in 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and it's a clear passing down. Who in the hell, who is your number one guy you are scheming this shit up for now? You knew who it was all the other years. It was Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer played the music, all that. Then it was Evans. Who is it now? Mike, who's your go-to? Who do you trust? Who the hell do you trust?
Well, I know the coaches love Rico. I know
that ain't what I asked. I asked, who can we trust?
It's going to be an assemblage, brother. It's going to be Tyree 1 3rd down. It's going to be a back on the other 3rd down. Might be Stays. I'm just praying that Raritan. I'm such a big fan of Eli, and it sucks for Evan, but I'm just like, to me, John Raritan can do a lot. I think he can do everything. So it's like he's 6'7", John, and runs 4.5. He's 6'7" and runs 4.5. I think if I can figure out a way to get Eli Raritan matched up against Jeremiah Trotter Jr., I like our odds. Who do we trust? You didn't trust Evans going into the season the way you do now, right? So, there's guys out there, but that's why they're going to roll the ball out and play, John.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
It's just that's also a little bit of the anxiety angle on that offense.
John, can I add one more thought?
Yeah.
Outside of it could be Stays is the guy on 3rd and 7. This picture you're painting could be Stays, could be Raritan. If it's going to be Tyree, that's going to be a down the field throw, more or less anymore, which is counter to what you would have thought with Tyree going into the season. You were thinking quick game.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and they like Rico. The coaching staff likes Rico. Jaden Thomas is still hurt, probably won't play. Yeah, his hamstring's still bugging him.
Yep.
So you got a bunch of young kids, like a walk-on and phase on. Dude.
I don't know. I know.
You literally take that picture. You're Sam Hartman.
I don't know.
Sam Hartman, it's 3rd and 7. You're like, who the F am I throwing this to?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
But it's game 10. Why am I doing this in game 10?
I don't know.
Shouldn't we know?
When you paint the picture, game's in the line, I'm all right. I got my money, man. I don't know who it is. I don't know who it is. I'm praying it's Raritan. But it's just, I want to highlight how unideal that is, that you're in week 10 and you don't know who your go-to 3rd down passing target is. Like, we could tell you who it isn't. We could list more names under who it ain't.
Yeah, exactly.
Who it is, category.
Exactly. We got a shout out here. This is from Always Irish Senior, Mike. So this is my dad here. Appreciate you joining. The parents are watching. Dad's in Florida this week, took off, wanted to get out. The cold weather hit Illinois, and he goes, I'm going to Florida. I'll see you guys around the holidays. So
anytime you can get out of Illinois, it's a good thing.
So good for him. He's down by the pool or the golf course, one or the other. Hartman has to show up and be the leader we thought he was. It's one of those games where you need that guy to make the plays you got to make, period.
Yeah. Go be a hero. Go become a Xavier Watts legend. Xavier Watts. People remember Xavier Watts the next 20 years for what he did against USC, just showing up, making a splash play. Yeah, and I think Sam, everybody loves you. I mean, you've been a great ambassador, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I think this game is going to give him an opportunity to insert himself because we're so closely matched across the board. Yeah. So it's going to be fascinating. But yeah, I can't when you really sit down and going back to your 3rd and 7, 3rd and 11, 3rd and 6 to 3rd and 12, like analogy, who's he going to go to with the ball? It's like, we do not know.
All right. Now, here's an idea. And this just might be an idiot guy yelling in his basement. I don't know.
Might be.
Could be, very likely, maybe, but hear me out at least before we confirm, okay?
All right.
Is there a situation where you talk to Eli Raritan and go, listen, dude, you have been frustrated, held back by these injuries and coming back and fighting your way. This is a day where we're going to try and let you shine and try and make up for some of that. If you want to have yourself a ball game, we're going to make it possible. Get your big 6'7" ass open. And you're going to be catching some balls today because we need you. The team needs you. And we're going to dial it up and give you a chance to be a main target today. Is that an approach? I don't know. I have no idea, man.
I think, John, it's great. Like we talk about, football's complicated, but it ain't that complicated. To your point, a conversation like that, John, probably happened Monday, Tuesday of this week.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it to be true that Eli has been told, and Eli believes like he is the next one in terms of all these first rounders, etc. Like he's the next,
bro. 6'7" is a big dude, and he's fast. You should have the advantage over anybody over the middle that you're matched up against.
But it's like, so again, I think that it's been a part of that core belief system is like, I'm the next guy. I'm the next Eifert. I'm the next, you name it, tight end coming out of here.
Yep.
Past Evans, right? I'm the next guy. And like, maybe we hit that fast forward button. Maybe you're getting thrust into that role 6 games too early or 1 year too early. But yeah, I think that those conversations, John, can absolutely be had. And they need to be had, again, early in the week to kind of start to create that right frame of mind, right?
And the other question I have is, so much of this is like 3rd and 8 when you're on the 40, and who's your go-to guy? Here's the other thing, Mike. Scheme some shit up for your 6'7" dude in the red zone as well, because that should be another area where a guy with that athleticism, speed, and length should have a big advantage over the guys he goes against. Like, scheme something up for a 6'7" body frame that's nimble and can run and catch too. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, it's a mismatch thing. That goes back to it's just where it's difficult to kind of be on screen, and we're talking about Parker calling plays, etc. It's difficult to sit there and be like, well, John and I and the folks in the chat, like, we know what to do. I never want to be that guy. But when you talk about the 2-back offense and like motioning a guy out and creating a mismatch, breaking the huddle with Tyree in the backfield, and then a linebacker or safety has to come down, right? I mean, getting a 6'7" tight end that's, can do a 360 dunk, getting them the ball in the red zone, it just makes too much sense sometimes, John.
Yeah, and again,
we're going to run an end around. We're going to run an end around.
I'm never the guy that's going to act, and I've never on this show acted like I am the X's and O's guy. That is not my purpose.
Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite.
That's not what my thing is. But you don't have to be a genius to look at the dynamics and then be able to know what you've seen from Notre Dame and be able to find some mismatches or some advantageous matchups here.
Listen, we're getting down to nut cutting time, by the way. We got 10 minutes to kick off. So my thing is, I had 2 score predictions. Is that fair, John? Can I have
2 score predictions? What do you think
this is? All right, wait.
Let me do mine. I think what I wrote in USA Today, somebody put in the chat.
28.
I think I had 28-17, something like that is what the ballpark I had. Notre Dame wins by double digits, but they don't get a fat
John,
score.
Is Notre Dame's offense scoring all 28 of those points? Are they getting something?
That's a very good question. I didn't break it down that much. That's a very good question.
Well, I'm asking you. You got a couple minutes. Do you think, God, you son of a bitch, do you think that Notre Dame,
it's one freaking
do you think you're going to get 28 points from the offense against this defense with no Mitchell Evans? I'm asking you. Or do you think you were going to get a kick return, interception, whatever?
I have a hard time baking in those kind of plays because I just don't think you can rely on them every week. So I got a default to say score your 28 the regular way. I can't bake in pick sixes and block kicks and shit, Mike. Can you? Those are extras. I can't build in another 10 points off turnovers because I want.
Hey, just kick your feet back, dude. Kick your feet back and enjoy the game. If you believe in your heart that we're going to score 28 points on offense, you got nothing to worry about in terms of this game.
I got all sorts of shit to worry about. Have you ever met me? What do you mean? It's a prediction, not a guarantee.
That's fair.
I got a big Swami ball here? A big, come on.
I'm saying 17-10, Notre Dame wins. My alternate prediction is 21-7, Notre Dame wins.
No. I don't. That 17 is just it's making me seize up seeing that 17, dude. Like that is 17 is like 6th year Sammy in game 10, and you're putting up 17 damn points. We ain't. Come on, bro. I can't handle that. That ain't enough.
We had 7 points at the end of the first quarter against Pitt, and we had 17 going into halftime against a 2-5 football team. Like, and again. We are kind of a tale of two halves team. We'll either come out hot and cool off, or we'll come out cool, then we'll heat up in the second half. Yeah. I'm telling you, between and I hope I'm wrong, but the kickoff, the time of the game, the travel, Clemson's got a knife at their throat. They're on their back. They got their asses kicked last year. Man, this is going to be a game, dude. It's going to be close, and I think it's going to be low scoring.
Oh, man. The rest of Pat here says, and this is my guy that helps out, does a lot of the stuff for me on the chats and everything. Good dude. loyal friend for a long time. The recipe doesn't change. NDD keeps the ND offense on the field. The Clemson D wears down eventually, and Notre Dame puts up a lot of points in the second half, 35-10. Mike, that is a roadmap all Notre Dame fans want to see travel down today. That would be like a not extreme position. That is like a very logical roadmap to how this game could go. Notre Dame fans want to see this happen.
Pat, real quick, Pat. So how many yards? What's the over-under on Estime's yardage? You know he wants his 100.
Yeah.
Can we get 18-plus touches? I mean.
Yeah. It's, man, this is just so.
I just think, ooh, all right.
It's the Notre Dame off. He's saying 125. He's threw 125 out on that yardage.
Okay. And that's probably 23 carries, 22, something like that carries.
And then you also figure there's going to be other touches divided around. What did those guys get to? And then I start adding up Notre Dame's rushing yardage then. Because if he's getting $125, there's going to be other guys too.
If the running game isn't getting going early, don't get away from it. Do not freak out, Parker. Do not freak out.
Yeah, having that quick trigger finger there to panic and yeah.
The third series we come out and empty, and then we throw on first and second down. Like I could just see it. Like stick to if the game's 0-0, we're winning because we're the better team. We got more talent. So if the game's 0-0, just hang in there.
Yeah. Yeah,
but I'm expecting a low-scoring game. I can't wait to watch. I'm the most excited for this game. I knew we beat SC.
Yeah, you called that.
I think I'm the most excited for this game, John, because I don't know what we're going to see. Yeah. I think we're the better team, but I don't know how this is going to shake out.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting. So I think Notre Dame gets it done. I kind of, the most likely outcome, in my opinion, is the one Pat kind of had, I think, where it's a tough battle back and forth, and it's not the easiest thing, but eventually Notre Dame overtakes them. That would be the most common, the most logical path to me, given where these teams are at and the personnel that I see. Notre Dame wearing them down later, making a couple play. I don't know, but if Clemson turns one on and they have their great game of the year and they play clean,
is Klubnik playing? Is Klubnik playing?
I believe so. I haven't seen that he is, and I say Thomas is out for us. I saw that on the chat.
I knew he would be out. All right, we got to watch this game, buddy.
All right, everybody, thank you for being here. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Pat. All the donators, the chatters, all that. We will have the call-in show right after the game. We'll do the call-in show. Everybody be there, be square. And don't forget patreon.com/alwaysirish.
It's going to be good, dude.
Irish, get this win. Let's go.